Welcome back to the Lightspeed Social Agency YouTube channel. I am Cody Owen, your host as always, and I wanted to talk to you today about something that I feel like was like a lever that I know to pull that I have not talked about before. So as I was looking back on Lightspeed's selling season and reflecting on what I want to do different and what I want to do more of next year that was really effective for us, I realized that I have never told you guys a thing that I do all the time. It's probably how you heard about me if you don't know me from previous work that I've done. I did a bunch of podcast interviews this spring to let people in the community know who I am and to get them to hear a little bit about me while I was connected to a trusted source of information. You might be thinking like, well, that's great, Cody, but my customers aren't going to find me through a podcast or whatever. But what I do want you to think about is that there are local influencers in your area. And I know that like influencer is a dirty or a gross word or whatever, but they exist in your market. If you are in the suburbs, there is someone doing I live in Plano, north of Dallas. There are several Instagram influencers that go around to local restaurants. They are doing like lifestyle posting about, new stores are opening, all of this sort of thing. There are local influencers in your area, especially if you are in the suburbs of a major metropolitan area. There are people who exist in that way. You want to find these people and figure out a way to work with them on, have them come out to a job site and show them what you're doing. Look, these people are trying to make content. It is a lot of work to produce the amount of content that they're trying to do. They will always be excited about an opportunity to produce some content, to do something a little bit different. So back in the day, I know like if you have followed Mike Callahan through the years, he had turned himself into the local news's snow expert, right? So anytime the local news had a question about snowfall, they talked to Mike about, how plowing was going to go. So be thinking about like these local influencers as the place where people are getting a lot of their local information. They follow this person on Instagram, they follow them on Facebook, wherever, to get some of that local information that a lot of us are missing now. I know that, many of my friends don't have local cable anymore. We're not watching like local news. So this sort of internet niche is kind of covering some of that local news that we are missing out on by not watching TV. So I think a way you can kind of modernize this strategy of being connected to the local news to get in front of homeowners is to work with the influencers who are local to your area, who have an audience that's local to your area. So it needs to be someone who has built their online brand around the area where you live. This is, just like I said, that person who is hitting new restaurants, talking about new stores that are opening, all of that kind of thing. You want to get with them and produce some content around your business that gets you in front of their audience. And this has some key benefits here. Number one, if you are so this is the potential customer who is seeing this Instagram or Facebook influencer, maybe they're a vlogger depending on where you live. If that person has recommended them a restaurant in the past and they went there and they liked it, then what we know is that they've had a positive experience engaging with that person's recommendations, right? So you want to look through and make sure that they're giving good recommendations, right? If they recommend a restaurant that you've had a bad experience at, maybe this person is not going to necessarily be giving out quality insights to customers. You're going to benefit from being adjacent to their authority, right? So if you even offer them some free service or some discounted service in exchange for them to talk about you and make sure that you go 110, 120%, bend over backwards to provide them with an excellent experience in exchange for some advertising, right? This is an excellent way to bring your business into the digital era as hard as you possibly can. Think about every online brand that you engage with, how many of them you found out about through some form of influencer marketing. This is a way to jump ahead of your competitors. They're not necessarily thinking about doing this. So how can you kind of snake around them and get the corner on this market before anyone else even thinks to do it in your industry. So think about how you can work with local influencers. Identify those local influencers by searching local hashtags, looking for who's posting from local restaurants in a way that feels a little more professional than just like, hey, here's my friends at this restaurant. Find those local influencers and see if you can work with them to produce some content that lets people in the area know about your brand and gets you some of that borrowed influence that will help you overcome that trust barrier. Because that's one of the biggest things that any business has to overcome to work with a new customer, is to convince them that they need to trust you, right? They need to let you, work on their home, right? That's an important thing. It's a big deal. And so you need to borrow some trust from somewhere to get them to let you do that. So figure out how that works in your area. Who's that local influencer that you can work with? And let me know if you have any ideas or success stories in the comments if you've tried this already in your business. Thanks so much, and I will see you next week.